Welcome to Beyond Belief, where we cover all of the events involving Toronto's favorite Sons, the Toronto Maple Leafs, with your hosts, Adam and Donnie.
Welcome to another episode of Beyond Beliefs. Beyond Belief, I can't even talk anymore. A Toronto Maple Leafs podcast and vidcast. I'm actually very excited because with me is my co-host Donnie, as always, the Emerald Enthusiast, as he's called when we do our Green Lantern podcast. But for today, he'll be the Leaf Enthusiast. All decked out in blue and white as he should be. And in case anybody's wondering, yes, my top is a Toronto Maple Leaf top. It's a little gray because it's a gray like, long sleeve top, and it's cold, and I had to wear a long sleeve top because this is Toronto weather. It's getting cold now, but I am very excited, Donnie, to be back with you talking about our favorite hockey team. But also because it's the first episode that we're doing. We've done two other ones, but it's the first episode we're doing where we actually have a hockey game to discuss.
Yes.
So that's very nice and very exciting and very fun. Also, the result was very nice, exciting, and fun, which makes it a lot easier to talk about. But
it was in doubt for a while. It gave me some
anxiety.
anxiety.
It was a little scary there, but we'll get there. Look, we skipped over the preseason games because the results of the preseason games are meaningless.
Right.
I mean, had the Leafs gone 6-0 in the preseason, ultimately means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Had they gone 0-6, ultimately means nothing. They went 2-2-2, and again, ultimately means nothing.
Right.
What you're looking for in the preseason is basically to see if anybody from the AHL affiliate Toronto Marlies stands out enough to earn a spot.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing you're looking for is probably to see if what line combinations may work, what looks good. Those are the things you're looking forward to in preseason. Yeah. You're not looking like look. Had they won all 6 games, would I have felt nice for about 5 seconds? Sure, but then the minute they announced the opening night lineup, who cares?
Right.
The only thing that was a little scary. So let me just talk about who stood out. I really like the line of Scott Laughton, Steven Lorentz, and Easton Cowan, who this is his first professional year, meaning either in the AHL or with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Problem is, Scott Laughton blocked a shot and now has a lower body injury and is out week to week, it's being described.
Yeah.
That means all that chemistry that line built up right now is of no use to us. So Easton Cowan is a healthy scratch.
Yeah. And week to week can mean anything.
It tells us nothing.
Yeah, it means you're not out for the season probably, but it could be next week or it could be 3 months from now.
Is it 4 weeks? Is it 6 weeks? Like, who knows?
Yeah.
But so Easton Cowan is currently on the Toronto Maple Leaf roster, but he's the healthy scratch. From what I understand, he's not getting into tonight's game against Detroit in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see Easton Cowan play with the Toronto Maple Leafs. At the same time, I don't think he should be sitting at his young age in the press box for too long. If it's going to be a prolonged thing, let's say the current lineup that is starting tonight and that started on Wednesday continues to play well and they string mostly a few wins together, and you don't want to mess with the chemistry of the lineup, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Then my thought process is it's better for Easton Cowan to be sent down to the AHL, play with the Toronto Marlies, play top line minutes, play on the power play, get your feet wet at the professional level, maybe, hopefully score some goals, get your confidence up.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Like, he could very well get into Monday afternoon's game. I don't know, but we'll see how long it goes. But I'd imagine nobody in Leaf management wants him sitting in the press box for too long.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate with the Scott Laughton injury. As we know, Joseph Wall is away from the team.
Right. We had a little
personal reasons.
Yeah, a little drama in the net, and we
Don't know
saw a
what
familiar
that-
face, didn't
yeah.
we?
Don't know what that means for personal reasons. I don't need to know. Nobody needs to tell me.
Right.
I am not as a Leafs fan, I am not entitled to know what is going on with Joseph Wall on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
I hope whatever it is, he's able to resolve, and that he comes back in a good space and is able to play with us.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that absence, the Leafs had to address their goaltending situation.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing that they did was sign Anthony Solars to an extension.
Right.
It was a 4-year extension.
A very friendly extension.
I believe it's in the range of $3.75 million per year.
And initially, what I was reading down here was that it was going to be much more than that if they signed him. And when I saw that contract, I was like, okay, wow, okay.
That is a great piece of business because
and the Leafs have been up against the cap for years now.
Yeah, and thankfully with the crybaby gone, Mitch Marner, I'll call him worse in a second, but it's still early in the podcast, so give it time. With the crybaby gone, that frees up, about 10 to 12 million in cap space that you can play with. But Anthony Stolarz in his last 2 to 3 seasons, the one with us and then the one before that with the disgustingly atrocious Florida Panthers. And I mean that because they're the 2-time Stanley Cup champions and they beat us a couple times in the playoffs, which I'm still not happy about. Damn you, Sam Bennett. But Anthony Stolarz in his last 2 seasons has put up top 5 goalie in the league numbers, both in save percentage and goals against average. So to get him on a team-friendly $3.75 million a year for the next 4 years after this one, that makes me very happy. So now the question of, Anthony Stolarz is the obvious starting goalie. He's going to play the bulk of the games, at least while Joseph Wall is away. Who's going to be backup? Dennis Hildeby had a really good preseason. However, every game he seemingly played was against largely minor league lineups for the other team. Maybe the Leafs aren't comfortable with him enough, considering they have, I think, 3 to 4 back-to-back sets of games in the month of October. So they brought in former Leaf goalie James Reimer on a professional tryout.
Yes.
And then did something bafflingly ridiculous, in my opinion, which was give him half a game of action. So let's talk about that. I don't want to spend too much time in the preseason, but I have to talk about this because the one time in the preseason I did overreact and kind of get upset and kind of afraid was the last game against Detroit, because the Leaf management in their, and I'm saying this sarcastically, infinite wisdom, decided, you know what? We're going to start essentially the Toronto Marlies for this last game of the preseason. I get it. They don't want to get anybody hurt. But we're going to start the Toronto Marlies against Detroit's top NHL roster. Now, shockingly, the Leafs managed to get out, or the Marlies, pretending to be cosplaying as the Toronto Maple Leafs. There we go. There's some comic book lingo for you. In a nod to my other podcast on the multiverse.
Cosplay means costume for anybody who's never been to a convention.
So the cosplay version of the Leafs managed to get themselves a 5-2 lead with about 10 minutes left in the third period.
And then we saw something that looked a little familiar.
James Reimer, mind you, came in halfway through the second period. So let me set the scene. The Leafs have a 3-goal lead with 10 minutes left in the game. James Reimer is the goalie of record. Detroit ties the game, or let's rephrase. Everybody knows we played Detroit. The opposing team ties the game in the last minute of play.
Mm-hmm.
The game goes to overtime. In the overtime, the opposing team scores. The Leafs lose 6-5. You know the last time I saw that exact scenario play out with James Reimer in the net? It was 2013.
Yeah.
Game 7. Against the,
and that same image of him laying on the ice on his stomach
against the Bruins, where the Leafs had a 4-1 lead with 3 minutes left in the third period, and then lost at 6-5. I didn't need that post-traumatic stress syndrome in September. I don't need that. That's the one time I got upset. And miraculously, because I have my Fitbit usually on, today's my day off, so I don't put it on the weekend. But by some minor miracle, probably because my mind knew it was the preseason, so I was calm, even though I was cursing in Italian, and you know which word that word will probably come up in a minute.
Yes,
but
yes.
I looked at the watch, and my heartbeat did not reach over 100
That's impressive.
for the entirety of the preseason. But you know what happened?
Well, good for you.
Of the regular season, it was back to over 100.
Right.
Like clockwork. But anyway, so that was alarming. That 6-5 debacle was a little bit alarming.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the Leafs management says, you know what? Maybe this James Reimer 2.0 experiment, we're just going to leave it alone.
Yeah, they didn't give him much of a shot, did they?
So they went out and they got on waivers. The day before they had to declare their opening night roster. They went out and signed Caden Primo, who was on waivers. He previously played for 2 teams, Carolina, and before that, the Montreal Canadiens. I can't really judge Caden Primo based on his regular season numbers because he played for a Montreal team that when he played was atrocious. In my opinion, they still are atrocious, but somehow they made the playoffs last year by some fluke. But anyway, so I can't. But his American League numbers his AHL numbers were fantastic. I'm going to wait and see how he plays when he gets into his first game before I judge anything, because, and I can't believe it's not too often that I say this about the Leafs defense, but the Leafs defense that he will have in front of him is vastly superior than anything he's had in front of him at the NHL level before. So we'll see how that shakes out. So Caden Primo is the backup goalie going forward.
At least until Wall comes
and
back.
Who knows when that's going to be.
Yeah.
So going into the regular season, I was intrigued to see how the new pieces, Matthias Michelli, what's his name? Why is it blanking? Nicholas Waugh, who we got for Mitch Marner,
right,
and Dakota Joshua. How those 3 guys would acclimatize themselves to the team. What I have to say, what from the first game, what I like about this Leaf roster is they're big boys. This is a big, heavy team. Very physical, much more physical than I've ever seen them.
And that's what you and I were talking about the other night. Them, again, much more physical. Looked like they were stronger. Coming off the board, they were winning a lot of those, pushing and shoving matches. Yeah.
And I like that. And you know why? Because that's playoff hockey. You need size. You need a willingness to go into the corners and hit people. Again, I'm not saying play like a bunch of dirty SOBs like the Florida Panthers. I'm not saying I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying be physical. When the puck is dumped into the corner, you got to win the puck battles. And the Leafs now have the size and the players that are more willing to go and do that. So I like that. Anthony Stolarz in net did not miss a beat. He was calm, composed. I just love watching him move in the net, just because it's so relaxed. It's so like it looks just calm.
Yeah,
like he's not flailing like a beached whale that looks lost and out of place. It's just I don't know. There's a calmness that when the other team has a scoring chance, once they hit center ice and get close to our zone, I'm not panicking. Oh my God, this shot's going to go in. My first thought is, oh my God, we're going to get scored on. So I just he looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
Before I get to the good, some of the good things, let me start off with some negatives, and then I'll get your thoughts on it. It's the first game of the season, mind you, but
right.
They looked at both teams, even Montreal. Though I really don't care how Montreal plays; it's not my concern. Again, they could burn up in the sun, and I could care less. But neither team looked particularly crisp for most of the game.
Yeah, I think they looked the way you would expect for an opening night.
I mean, there was some slowness at times.
Yeah, Nyes, Matthews, and Michelli. That was our opening. That was the first line for the opening night.
They took some time to get going, but they got going, and I'll talk about them in a second. But overall, I mean, they looked a little bit slow. Both teams again looked a little bit slow. The passing was not crisp at all.
Yeah, you and I talked about the really lackadaisical passing zone. It cost us a goal and nearly cost us another goal.
Yeah, that was my biggest concern. That and the power play. Oh boy, they better. I hope that over the last couple of days they worked on that, because they looked a little disjointed on the power play. To the point where they gave up a shorthanded goal. And here's the thing. Again, just sticking with the bad parts first. Nylander on the power play has the puck, and instead of carrying the puck up the ice through the neutral zone, he decides, just shy of our own blue line, I'm going to pass through almost 3 lines. Why he did that, I'll never know. But he did that, caused a turnover. In comes Montreal, and the player that scored, I can't remember who it was. Again, I don't keep track of Montreal stats, so I don't care. But the Montreal forward came in, it was a great shot. Anthony Stolarz had no chance, and they scored. Nylander, I think he's fantastic. He's got all the skill in the world.
Yeah. There's
no need for that in the power play. Carry it in. There's no need for that pass. So that may have caused the first Vafangul of the season to come out. Not may have, he did. But to his credit, Nylander made a great play on the opening goal of the game, which was the Leafs won the faceoff. Tavares won the faceoff. Nylander got into a shooting position, sort of, a prime spot in the slot of the Montreal zone.
In an incredibly quick goal.
Wasn't
the prettiest shot, but his turnaround was lightning fast.
Yeah, and he just put it on net, and Bobby McMann was in front of the net screening the goalie and managed to tip the puck in. Let me just say, I need Bobby McMann to do more of that. Plant yourself in front of the net. Screen the goalie, because you're big. You're a big boy, and you can cause the goalie a lot of problems just by obscuring his vision. And what I like about Bobby McMann is his speed. That for a guy his size is really quick. So that was, for Bobby McMann, well done. Keep that up. That's what we need to see from you. The more you do that, you'll have even more success than you did last season.
Mhm.
So that was great. So now I talked about some of the bad things. Let's talk about the good things. Bobby McMahon was one of the goal. That goal we just described was one of the good things.
Mhm.
You know who else was really impressive? Morgan Riley on defense. Morgan Riley did not have a good season last year. He was better in the playoffs, but his regular season was below his usual standard, well below his usual standard.
Well, he had, and I just want to say, he had a really nice shot that just sailed just over the net at the end of the first period.
Yeah.
It almost went in. It was a really good shot. So,
Yeah.
want to see more of that.
Yeah, but you know the thing with Morgan Riley, even the coach Craig Berube said, you know, last year when Craig Berube took over the coaching job, he tried to get the Leafs to play a more defensive brand of hockey instead of this run and gun. You know, let's trade offensive chances with the other team. In doing that, he felt that Morgan Riley made more of a conscious effort not to jump into the play and try and get offensive chances last season. But what Berube wants from Morgan Riley this season is to understand that yes, we have to be more conscientious and aware of playing better defensively in our own end. But Morgan Riley is the type of player, when you get a chance to go and jump into the rush and create an offensive chance, you've got to do it. It's knowing when is the appropriate time to do it. And so I think Morgan Riley took a while to find that balance of, okay, when do I stay back and play defense? And when do I jump? When do I go? Right. And so hopefully this is a sign that he's found that balance, because like you said, he had a chance very early in the first period. And then he actually scored what would be the ultimately go-ahead goal and the game-winning goal. And it was a beautiful play. First of all, it was a great pass by Matias Maccelli to spring Matthew Knies on a partial breakaway that got stopped. But then Matthew Knies, just stayed on the puck, got his own rebound, and then Morgan Riley pinched in from the point. Matthew Knies passed it on in front to him, and Morgan Riley finished off the play and scored the goal. Beautiful goal. Beautiful setup to start the goal. And so I want to see more of this from Morgan Riley. I hope this is just the beginning, that this is a continuous thing for Morgan Riley, because if we can get more goals from our defense corps, which was really painfully, goals from the defense last year was painfully low. If we can get more of that this season, well, that's one way you replace the numbskull that was Mitch Marner.
I want to point out too, I really like the play when Lorenz kicked the puck to Yarncroke.
Yes.
To set up that goal. That
was another one of our goals from Yarncroke.
Yeah.
And look, I'm glad you brought that up, because I've been very critical of Calle Yarncroke. Part of it is not his fault, because he was injured for a majority of last season. But Calle Yarncroke is in a battle, I think, this season for a spot with, potentially Easton Cowan. And if Calle Yarncroke is going to stay in the lineup this season, he needs to play the way he played Wednesday night on a consistent basis. I thought his pace was good. I thought his willingness to sort of pressure the opposing player carrying the puck to sort of try and get the puck back or cause a turnover was apparent. And look, he was in the right place at the right time. And when he got the puck, he put it on net. Good things happen. Like if you're on the third or fourth line, I don't need you to be flashy. I don't need you to go for a TSN, a highlight of the night, the Sportsnet highlight of the night, or Sports Center, I should say, highlight of the night package. Like, I don't need that. Look, if you get the ugliest goal that I've ever seen, great. I don't care. I don't need to see.
We just need the hustle out of those lines.
Listen, you're not all Austin Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need you to all be Austin Matthews. You need, on the fourth line, if you can chip in a goal every now and again, that's perfect. You know what your other job on the fourth line is? To keep the other team stuck in their own zone. Right. If that's mucking it up along the boards, then it's mucking it up along the boards.
Mm-hmm. But by the way, and I just gotta, with all the coverage of Mitch Marner leaving, it seems wild, but the biggest story for the Leafs this offseason was Austin Matthews getting healthy again.
Yeah.
We saw him look healthy in this game, and he locked it up with 1:32 left.
Yeah.
With an empty netter.
I'll get to
that was all hustle, by the way. I mean, he really skated quickly there.
And so just to go back to the fourth line for a second. Sure. So again, if you can chip in a goal every now and again, fantastic. But the main objective of the fourth line is two things: create energy and keep the other team in their end, stuck in their end. Don't get scored on. That's the goal of the fourth line. So job well done. And Cal Yarncroke, as much as I criticize him, I'll give you your props. Well done. You played well. You had a good game. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Even Robertson, I like the way Robertson looked. He was what I've seen from him in the preseason and so far in this first game.
There was a couple of points I saw where he was aggressive.
Yeah. Again, puck pursuit, being on the opponent, trying to get the puck back, trying to cause a turnover. That's what I like to see. Now, he did give the puck away at one inopportune time, but he recovered. He managed to work his ass off, got the puck back, and got us out of danger. So good again. That's what I need to see. Mm-hmm. For Robertson to be effective and stay in the lineup, he's going to have to do those things. And if he keeps doing those things, we'll be fine. So one of the things that helped the Leafs was their secondary scoring from, guys like McMahon and Yarncroke and then Riley chipping in. Now, to talk to your point about Matthews, you're right. Looks a lot healthier. The other thing,
he looked healthy, and he looked happy when he tapped that goal in. Like I said, he really showed some speed there.
So one of the things I will say before I get to the goal, just talking about it, is there was a moment when Montreal had the puck in our zone and were controlling the play, and then they got an opportunity, and Matthews blocked a shot, and he was, hunched over and wincing a little bit. That scared me because we need Matthews healthy this year. But again, what I love about Matthews is the fact that his willingness to block a shot. He's the captain. He's leading by example.
Yeah.
I like that.
Also got to give, we talked about how great Stolarz played. He stopped a bouncing puck at one point. That bouncing pucks make me nervous because it's one thing to stop a shot. It's another thing when a puck is going all over the place to have to keep track of it.
Or something like
Yeah, and I thought things were about to get tied up, but he blocked it. So
one of the things that I will say about Matthews is he's rarely do you see him puck hog when the net is empty on the other side, overly trying to force an empty net goal for himself. He never does that. And again, by example, Alex Ovechkin, who last season passed Wayne Gretzky's goal record. Look, Alex Ovechkin is a great goal scorer. I'm not denying that. But the man is a hog. He stays out there for the entire 2 minutes of a power play. And he goes for those empty net goals like cookies, all the time. Like if he can get 20 empty net goals, he'll take 20. Matthews,
that got a lot of coverage down here because I'm only about 70 miles or so from.
So again, I'm not taking anything away from his goal scoring ability, but he's a bit of a hog in that if he can get 20 to 30, if he could get easily 20 to 30 empty net goals, he'd take them. Matthews does not, excessively look for the empty net goal. But I did like the hustle that he showed to get that goal.
Yeah. And if you have a chance, if anybody who's seeing this, I'm assuming you saw that game, but if you haven't, go back. And it's worth another look for that matter.
And yeah. I need Matthews to be more of an empty net hog this season. Do it. Listen.
Well, he's going to need to be. He really, it's like you said, he's going to set the tone for this.
If you're out there with the empty net and you have the puck and you have a chance to put it in the empty net, put it in the empty net.
By the way, I really liked the final goal that Nylander chipped in.
Yeah, we'll talk about Nylander in a second.
That was awesome. Just the ease with which he put that in, doing that to your arch rival is always fun. So.
I will say this about Matthews before I move on to Nylander.
Go ahead.
Matthews is now, I believe, if my math is correct, 19 goals away from passing Matt Sundin for the Leafs record. He's going to do it without question this season. I'd like him to do it nice and early. You know what I'd like? I'd like Matthews to get back to 2 years ago when he got 69 goals. So, Austin, I respect your want to score the goals, most of your goals with the goalie in net. But if you have a chance to put that puck in the net more often with the empty net, take it. Be a little selfish and take it. Now.
Well, especially, it's like you're saying, to become the all-time leader, do however you can.
Now.
Especially if it's at home. Take
absolutely.
It. Be selfish for once.
Be like Larfleeze. No, nobody that doesn't read Green Lantern will know who that is. But for those people that do, be like Larfleeze in that instance. Now, Nylander. I spent the first few minutes giving him shit because of the giveaway. But why do I feel like these people's parents? I'm giving them shit every 5 minutes. Anyway, I'm older than most of that team. Anyway, that's the problem. That's what
I'm older than most two players put together.
Right, but the fact that I'm older than most of the Leafs really depresses me. But anyway, Nylander. That was a nice goal. And my favorite part was the Montreal Canadiens defenseman falling, trying to catch it. That was my favorite part. I could watch that on a loop.
There's nothing like making your arch rival look silly at the end of a game. I loved it.
But Nylander had 3 points in that game. 1 goal, 2 assists.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just like to point out. Now, people may say I'm bitter. That's fine. You can say what you want. But Nylander has 3 points in 1 game. You know how many points Mitch Marner has in 2 games?
By all means, tell us.
And you know the better part of the whole Mitch Marner situation? In the first game Vegas played, Vegas had a multi-goal lead over the LA Kings. Mm-hmm. And Marner had his big flashy 2 assists. And he was probably all excited and ready to go home and pet his dog and play with his dog in the garage and stick handle like he used to do here, stupidly on Instagram. Again, I got nothing against dogs, but Mitch Marner looked like a fool when he was doing that days after we got eliminated from the playoffs. Thanks a lot, jackass. But anyway, so Mitch Marner had his 2 assists, Mr. Flashy Pants, and Vegas was in the lead. He was all happy. LA comes back, storms back, and ties the game. Goes to a shootout. Mitch Marner is the last player for Vegas, has to score to extend the game. And he gets stopped. And that made me so happy. For all your pirouettes that you do in the pregame warm-up, Oh, don't they look nice? You could pirouette. Isn't that great? But when it matters, and you did it for 9 years here, when the game's on the line and there's a pressure situation, you choke. And it was so nice seeing him choke in game 1 of his season with Vegas. And I hope.
Well, and you and I have talked about, the pressure situations, in the playoffs, games 5, 6, and 7. Those series clinching games that his stats went dramatically down, and that's why I understood. When things went south with the contract negotiations, I understood that the Leafs had to go in another direction. The core 4 direction wasn't working.
Look, I'm not gonna say that Mitch Marner in the regular season wasn't a fantastic point producer for the Leafs. No. He was.
Nobody's saying he's not a star.
My issue was the way the whole thing was handled. The way him and his team acted like entitled, whining children. Because if he had just played his cards right and accepted the trade at the deadline, eventually when he retires, Mitch Marner would have had a statue outside of the Scotiabank Arena on Legends Row. He would have. Now, they better not damn dare put a statue out there, because I'll go vandalize it. And I'm not wanting to vandalize things, but I'll make an exception. Now, the other thing I want to mention, because I was giving updates during the playoffs last year. Remember I said I had that friend who she just started watching hockey in the playoffs and the Leafs were winning.
Yes.
And so I've coined her as the good luck charm of the Leafs. Well, come the regular season, and we're 1-0. And I kind of feel some pride in this fact that in a short period, in a short time span, I mean, she probably started watching, I want to say, the month before the playoffs,
mm-hmm.
and then through the playoffs, and then now game 1 of the regular season. She's starting to learn the proper lingo, of the game. And, she knows that Austin Matthews is currently, in terms of, our best scorer, but one of the best scorers in the league. I would say best scorer in the league. McDavid is the best point getter, no doubt about that. But Matthews is pure scoring wise. I think it's Matthews. And all time is okay. Give Ovechkin his due. But my point is, she's starting to get the lingo.
Right.
I kind of feel very proud of that, and not saying that I did anything, but the fact that I unfortunately introduced her to this team, and she's going to have to deal with the ramifications of being a Leaf fan and all the negativity that comes with that. But she's learning the lingo, so I feel kind of like a Jedi, training my.
So she's your Padawan,
the apprentice, yeah. So I feel proud of that, that she's learned in such a short time span.
I hope you can sense the dark side.
I didn't have to do that with you because you already had a little bit of a base to go on, right? I didn't have to teach you much, mind you. I mean, if you want an expert course if you want more of my expertise, then there's a fee for that, and that fee would be trying to get me Margot Robbie's number. But that's so if you can do that, then you'll get the expert training that I offer, which is not much of an expert or anything. But it's funny because we had been texting back and forth before the preseason. She's like, "Do I have to watch the preseason?" I'm like, "Not really. I mean, it's pointless." But if you're gonna watch one of the final two games of preseason, because that's usually when those 2 games are when the Leafs ice their mostly NHL lineup. And which game did she choose to watch? The Detroit one.
Preseason games are, they're just kind of glorified practices, but yeah, that one was.
And so after she's like, I don't know if I'm such a good luck charm. If they're just, I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand. They're not going to win every game. As much as I wish the Leafs could go 82-0, it's not going to happen. So what I try to stress is the importance of their record when she watches the games. And so far, it's a winning record. So as long as that stays intact, she's considered a good luck charm. So she's a 1-0 to start the regular season. So the good luck charm is still working, just for anybody that wanted an update there. And she's learned a lot about the game in a short span of time. I'm very proud of that. So I just thought I'd shout that out. The other thing that I think you'll find funny is that everybody who knows me knows that I'm a comic fan, and I'm mostly a DC guy, but I do enjoy Marvel as well. And so the Hulk, Incredible Hulk, is my spirit animal for the season. And actually, really anytime when I'm watching the Leafs, because, by nature, they make me angry. So
you wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Well, they wouldn't like me when I'm angry, and they're lucky I'm not in the arena when I am angry.
Yeah.
But so.
Oh, I've heard some of your very, very colorful meltdowns.
Yes, you've had the displeasure of listening to them. But, so I have, for my social media profile pictures, I have a picture that my dearly departed friend Dave made for me years ago of.
Is that you in the straight jacket?
That's not the one I'm using currently. That'll come later in playoff time. That's playoff Adam. Right now, this is regular season Adam.
There you go.
And so it's a picture of Ang Lee. You know the Ang Lee Hulk movie?
Yes.
But he's blue. So that's my profile picture.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Yes. Yeah.
So that's currently me for the duration of the season. And then I'm sure by the time the playoffs roll around, knock on wood, provided the Leafs make the playoffs, they damn well better. Otherwise, I really am going to turn into the Hulk. And nobody wants to hear me if the Leafs don't make the playoffs, because if I have to go from April until September to see the Leafs again, we're going to have problems. We're going to have big problems. So the Hulk is my spirit animal when it comes to the Leafs.
I get it.
If anybody wants to help calm me down here, I found this is clearly the only solution to calm me down during hockey games. We need to send Scarlett Johansson to my house in her Black Widow attire to come and, massage upon my hand and tell me the sun's getting real low, big guy, and then I'll calm down like the Hulk did in the Avengers movies. So if anybody has access to Scarlett Johansson, explain the situation.
I'm glad you stayed PG-13 there.
Listen, I can keep it. I'm well behaved most of the time. But yeah, so if anybody has access to Scarlett Johansson, explain the situation and give her my address, and that'll work itself out. And then the other thing, since it's October, and since it's Halloween, Halloween is about all things scary.
Right.
I had a scary thought last night as I was trying to drift to sleep. That scary thought is, I'm now 42 years old. Realistically, I'm at the halfway point of this thing called life, right? Maybe between now and 8 years from now will be the halfway point if all things go well, knock on wood. And this scary thought occurred to me, Donnie. There is a possibility that I could go my entire life without seeing the Toronto Maple Leafs win a Stanley Cup. That scares the living hell out of me. And I just want to tell, if any Leafs player, management, alumni watches this podcast or listens to it, if that happens, if once my life runs its course on this earthly realm, if I have not seen the Leafs win the cup before that time, this is what's going to happen. I will haunt. My ghost will haunt every jackass that ever played for this team during my lifetime. So, has anybody ever heard a ghost whisper in an eerie manner the words Vafangulo? I don't think that's ever been heard. But I'll tell you right now, if they go on it my entire lifetime without winning the Stanley Cup, plenty of players will find out what that feels like. You know the saying, F around and find out? Well, yes. They're fixing to find out if they keep screwing around in the playoffs. Don't make me get to that point, because it's not going to be cast for the friendly ghost. It's going to be
just like, when you asked me, you're like, you told me, you're like, I was born into this. Why did you choose this? And I'm like,
it's going to be like I'm telling you, it's not going to be cast for the friendly ghost. It's going to be Exorcist level scary. So do the right thing and just win the cup once. I'm asking for one. Donnie's asking for one. Most of Leaf fandom is asking for one. And I have a vision of a dream. I sound like Martin Luther King now. It's not that serious, but anyway. I have a dream. I'd like to see them win. Would be nice if this season was the year. But 2026, 2027 would be a nice season next season to win it. You know why? Because that would mark the 100th year of them becoming the Leafs. Because remember, they came into the league, I think it was 1917. And they were the Toronto St. Pats. And then
the St. Pats, yes.
I believe it.
I do like the old green jerseys, though. I have to say
you should get one, obviously, because of your Green Lantern appreciation as well.
I love the blue and white combo. That's the combo of my college basketball and
football. So it works. So
so for me, it works.
But so this year would be great. Like if they tell me, sorry, we're not going to win next year, we're going to win this year. I'm not going to complain. But
let's go back to back.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Listen, if they go back to back, then my dreams are really coming true. And Margot Robbie's going to walk to my door in her Harley Quinn outfit. Like, if that happens, then I'm just going to go full dream big. Never mind Walt Disney. This is what dreams are made of. No, that's what dreams are made of, right there. 2 years anyway. But if they don't do it this year, next year would have a nice ring to it because of the history involved. So, but look, I'm not going to be picky. This year, next year, again, just before my life ends, would be nice. That's all I'm asking for. So, Donnie, any final takeaways before we wrap this up on the first game? And
well, I'll just say this: you and I have talked a lot during the off season about there are some so-called experts out there, telling us to hit the panic button because we don't have Mitch Marner. You and I, we've talked about how we think that the Leafs have gotten bigger and tougher, and the fact that, again, Mitch Marner in the most clutch situations wasn't coming up for the Leafs. And so I think that the Leafs actually have a chance to be just as good, if not better, this year.
As long as, look, if we continue to get secondary scoring from people like Bobby McMahon, right, and the Yarn Crooks of the world, and Robertson,
Matthews and Stolars, if they stay healthy.
So if Yarn Croak, Robertson, Easton Cowan, whenever he gets in the line, and McMahon, if these guys chip in with secondary scoring, and Austin Matthews and William Nylander continue to do their thing, if Riley has more games this season like he did in Game 1, that's how you replace Mitch Marner. One guy isn't going to do it. It's going to be a collective thing. And I think that that if we can get more of what we saw from those players in Game 1, if we can get that spread throughout the course of the season, I think they'll be fine. Again, I like their size. They're better built for the playoffs. My friend, the good luck charm is working. 1-0 so far. I'm hopeful. Look, I may be ridiculously naive and delusional. It's very possible that I keep coming back every season and saying I'm hopeful, but I am hopeful this season. There's just a vibe.
Well, remember, another reason for hope. Craig Berube won a Stanley Cup with a team that was not a lot of huge stars. It was just a lot of people chipping in.
And again, the thing for me is, look, am I going to sit here and say, well, this is our year and we're going to win the cup after one game? No, I'm not that delusional.
Yeah.
But
we're going to have tough spots. Every team does.
They're not, like I said before, they're not going to go 82-0 as much as I would. I mean, that would be amazing. My blood pressure would be fantastic if they did that. My nerves would just be so I would be so relaxed. It would be like being on a spa retreat every day. It would be great. I would love that, but it's not realistic. But I am just hopeful, but there's an air of just freshness with the drama of Mitch Marner gone. And I like the way Berube's constructed the team. I like the value he's gotten on a lot of the re-signings that he's done. So, there's a lot to be excited about, and I am hopeful. So we'll see how the season progresses. And Donnie and I will be back in November with another episode, just because scheduling is for the next few weeks is a little tough. But we will be back in November.
By the way, happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian friends out there.
And I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to the meal. We're doing it tomorrow, which I prefer, because Monday afternoon, the Leafs have a game. And the last thing I want to try and do is digest, exceeding amounts of food while trying to watch the Leafs. That's never a good recipe. I cannot eat when I'm watching the game. It's just my nerves are too high. Now, given that it's Thanksgiving, I would like to say happy Thanksgiving to all my fellow Canadians. And to the Leafs, leave the turkey on the plate. I don't want to see no turkey on the ice. Play accordingly. But we will be back in November to do another catch-up on, at that point, will be a month's worth of games. We'll give you an overall wrap-up. Hopefully, we're just as happy as we were today. But to close, if you want to talk Leafs with Donnie or I on social media, you can. Donnie, where can they find you?
You can find me on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook as the Emerald Enthusiast. Let's talk comics. Let's talk collectibles. Let's talk hockey. Let's talk the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, Donnie's on the TikTok, as I called it the other day on the comics podcast. You can tell I'm old when I'm calling it TikTok. But find him there. I'm not there yet. Maybe I'll do it. We'll see one day. I'll jump on this TikTok nonsense and see what the hell it's all about. Donnie may have to help me navigate how to use that nonsense, but we'll see. But you can find me on Twitter or X or whatever the hell you call it, or you want to call it. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Yeah, Facebook. I'm on it all. We do have a Facebook group. I will link you to that. You can join and converse there with me as well if you so choose. But remember, until our next Leafs episode, the Toronto Maple Leafs are forever. From the first time they beat the Montreal Canadiens in the regular season to the last. So long, everybody, and go Leafs go.
Go Leafs go. So long, everyone.